Hey everybody, this is Demari. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And today I'm going to be doing the 2020 New Year's messages for the sign of Virgo. Now, just to explain the layout, I'm going to be using the Dark Mirror Oracle deck in order to get insight as to what it is that you left behind in 2019. Then I'll be using the Work Your Light Oracle deck in order to see what it is you're moving towards now that we're in 2020. And then, of course, I'll be pulling some messages using the Wild Unknown Tarot. So, just want to wish you all a happy new year. I hope you have an amazing start to 2020. I know that a lot of people are really feeling the good vibes right now, so let's keep that going. So, I really just want to see what it is that you learned, from the year 2019. Because I know for a lot of signs, for every sign actually, there was a lot of heavy lessons that were playing out, different karmic situations that we had to navigate towards and really process and move through. So it'd be really interesting to see what it is that you, in particular Virgo, have learned from 2019, what you're leaving behind, what is resolved within yourself at this time, and which class basically you passed, pretty much. So let's have a look then, Virgo, without any further delay. Wow, okay, 2 cards came out for you immediately. And it's interesting because I've had this card in another reading. I think it was Gemini's. So that could be relevant to you somehow, the sign Gemini. Okay, so to begin with, you've got Obsession. I'm not sure if you can see clearly. I know my camera likes to focus on me rather than the cards. But yeah, here you have Obsession to begin with. And then you also got Perchance to Dream, which is interesting as a combination. So Obsession, particularly you Virgo, you're well known as an earth sign for being very meticulous, very well organized, very well thought out. You don't tend to leave things to chance. There can be a slight controlling nature to that aspect, so it doesn't surprise me that Obsession came out. Because, as I said, you are very meticulous. You like things to make sense and be ordered. You don't like things kind of being sporadic and unclear. You like to know exactly where you stand in all circumstances and with other people, right? So I feel like in this case, it was more that you were trying to control too many variables. That your obsession became with feeling like you had to be in control of every aspect of your life. Because there may have been more than one aspect in the recent past, particularly throughout 2019, where you felt like you were lacking control in some way, or that things were kind of just slipping through your fingers and you were desperately trying to regain control over a situation with an iron grip, but that wasn't necessarily the best way to approach the situation or the various things that played out across the year. Sorry if I sound a bit strange. I have a really bad cold still at the moment, so just bear with me. But yeah, I feel like you have been processing that a lot, particularly in the latter part of 2019. I think you realized that that may have not been the best approach for you, that actually by trying to grip onto things tighter and to assert more control over a situation, you ended up having less, and you ended up actually pushing things away, pushing people away. Losing more than you thought you would as a result, rather than gaining more. So I think you kind of learned that actually there's a very fine line between taking action, being assertive, and actually enforcing something, pushing your will onto someone else, right? So it is tricky, I do understand, particularly if it involves others. Especially if they're not communicating exactly what it is that they want from you, or making it clear where you stand. So I can understand the need to try and make sense of it all. But it's really important that you don't allow that to be the focus, that you don't get back into this energy again, because I feel like you really have been processing this quite heavily. Like this has been a major aspect of your introspective work, sorry. So yeah, it's really important that you don't fall back into this energy, because I feel like you are making good progress with that, and you're learning how to release a little bit of control and just let things flow naturally. So that's good. And then with perchance to dream here, as you can see, we have a prince that's kind of falling backwards into a deep slumber, and there's like almost like a wraith that's like, you know, guiding him backwards. And as he goes backwards, as the prince or the king falls backwards, I feel like he's a prince, to be honest, but as this prince falls backwards, he's starting to disintegrate. Okay, he's kind of losing himself to I feel like it's kind of cathartic, right? He's kind of losing himself to the process. He's just letting go to the point where he's allowing himself to disintegrate into the nether, right? So I feel like in some ways, as you're trying to process these issues that you have regarding control, regarding the fear of not having control over your life, feeling like things just happen to you, and you know, things going awry, I feel like you're kind of having to find that balance. As I said, right now I feel like you're trying to find a balance between letting go and taking action, right? So I feel like you're kind of somewhere drifting between the two, and I feel like you may be moving more towards this state right now, that because it's been so stressful, because it's been very draining, because you're tired and you know that you can't try and assert your dominance over every specific thing, you're kind of moving more into this where you're just kind of letting go and just letting, you know, things, you know, fall wherever they lie, rather than stressing yourself out anymore about what's seemingly outside of your control. But you just have to be careful that you don't go too far into this energy as well, because otherwise, if you kind of shut down and stop allowing yourself from caring, stopping yourself from really taking any action on anything you want to do, or really finding out what it is that you need to know, you know, that's going to make you unhappy as well. That's not going to put you in a positive mental space. So it's finding the balance between the two, I feel, that you're kind of having to navigate at this time. Okay, but I feel like, you know, you are going to find that, even though, okay, obviously this is more addressing what you've been dealing with in 2019 and what you're leaving behind. I feel like you're absolutely leaving this controlling, obsessive behavior behind, for sure. But I feel like you're still kind of somewhat navigating this energy, and you're kind of learning to find the balance, right? So that's, I feel like that's still slightly in play for you at this time, Virgo. So again, you know, this, as you know, this is a general reading. It's not going to apply to everyone's circumstances, so just take it as it resonates if it does. If it doesn't, have a look at your placements in your chart. There may be another sign that's more prominent for you regarding this kind of work, and the messages that need to be relayed to you in 2020. So maybe have a look at one of the other signs on my channels for this particular reading, okay? So let's have a look then in regards to the energies you're moving towards in 2020. So what is it that Virgo is being guided towards throughout the year 2020? Okay, again, we've got two for you, so I'll take them. The crumbling. What are you clinging on to? This is exactly what I'm talking about here. Not being able to let go, right, of that control, but you're learning how to do so, right? This is like the archetypal tower moment, right? This is represented in the Work Your Light Oracle deck here as the crumbling, right? That is your tower moment here. So I feel like, yeah, your old ways of doing things, old toxic behaviors, thought processes, ways of approaching situations are completely being deconstructed. And you're relearning how to approach your relationships, and not just in a romantic sense, but all relationships, creating boundaries and knowing when to let people in, letting love flow freely without attachment and demand. You know, things like that. You're reworking how you perceive all connections, right? That's why I feel like it's particularly in regards to your connections with others in all levels, you know, family, friends, acquaintances, you know, partners. So I feel like you are going through this. This will be quite a prominent energy for you, particularly for the first half of 2020. You're deconstructing and rebuilding, right? It's not just a complete destruction, but it's the rebuilding of how you approach your relationships. You'll be removing a lot of people from your life, but you'll also be reconnecting with people that maybe you've been at odds with or distant from for some time. There'll be new connections made, but it will all be under a very different approach, right? So that's really interesting. But it's reminding me as well to really think about what else that needs addressing, okay? Is there something else that you're kind of overlooking, particularly when it comes to how you interact with others and how you communicate ideas to yourself, how you speak about yourself, okay? Because that's also very important, right? So just think about what things you currently not letting go of that, you know, you really ought to be, okay? So that's what you're being encouraged to do at this time. So while it's kind of destructive, it's also like a rebirth thing, okay? It's about, you know, clearing out the old to embrace the new, so that, you know, all of the things that no longer serve you and all of the things that you are kind of doing at your detriment, you'll no longer do no more. You know, you're closing that out. So it's really important that you do that introspective work. And then next you've got the initiation, rite of passage, crossing the threshold. Interesting. I feel like this is quite relevant. This was quite a relevant theme for Taurus as well. So I don't know if that's relevant to you somehow also. Maybe you'll be intertwining with a Taurus that will help you on this path. But obviously, yeah, you're the one that actually got this in the Oracle. And again, these two are like some of the darkest cards in the Work Your Light Oracle deck. And that's because I feel like you have been going through a dark night of the soul. And that while that process is continuing in 2020, it's not all doom and gloom. I know a lot of people, particularly Virgos, I've had some Virgos write to me how like, oh, my readings are always so depressing, like it doesn't make me want to watch. Yeah, you've been going through, Virgo, but it's not there to make you feel bad. It's not there to make you feel like there's no hope. It's there to tell you that you are one of the signs that are ascending most right now, okay? You're being completely deconstructed and rebuilt, okay? All the things that no longer serve you, all the programming that's at your detriment, right? All the learned behaviors, the societal ideologies that are not fitting for you anymore. All of that is being completely deconstructed so that you can rebuild your reality and your self-perception and perception of others, right? Under this new image, under this new way of thinking, this new approach, right? From a more heart-centered place rather than a fear-driven perspective, right? So it's actually like incredibly powerful. As it says, the initiation, you are being initiated, right? You're being guided, you're being supported through this process, okay? You're not doing it alone. You're being divinely supported through the initiation, you know, of your awakening, of your ascension, you know, illumination, transformation, all of that, okay? You're being brought into the upper realms of the 5D so that you can have all of this shit cleared out. And that so there's space for you to breathe and, you know, actually explore possibilities rather than being stuck in these old processes that are no longer fitting, that are not aligned with your vision, right? And how you you know, how you're starting to interact with others in your reality, right? It's changing massively. So yeah, everyone's been going through a transformation this year, but there are certain signs where it's been most prominent. I would say particularly Virgo, Cancer, Aries, Gemini, Scorpio as well, Pisces also, in various different ways, but these particular signs have really been going through it in different areas of their lives. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me that your readings have been pretty full on, but that's simply because you are being prepared for something much more, right? Like it's a huge step forward that you're taking. So that's not something to be sad about. That's actually something to be very grateful of. because you're getting a lot of attention and focus and care at this time, Virgo, so that you are prepared and that you're not going through this journey alone. That's what you need to be aware of, that you're not doing it alone. Okay. So now I just want to pull some tarot cards to get further insight as to specific messages that can help you move forward on this journey in the year 2020. So the first cards will be in relation to what is your focus at this time, right? Any goals or aspirations, but the main thing, your focus. The second card is in relation to specific energies and messages from the divine, the guidance that is coming in at this time. And then the third card is in relation to the overall energy and outcome. Okay, so just give you an insight as to what I'm pulling, and then there'll be some final messages for you. So what is the focus for Virgo in 2020? What is Virgo's focus for 2020? Well, okay. And okay, advice is there. No, there's too many cards. Okay. Advice, the guidance from the divine, and ooh, got it. Lastly, the outcome. I'm not surprised this come up. Okay, let me show you. So in regards to your focus for the year, you have the Two of Pentacles in reverse. Not going backwards and forwards in your mind, you know. Again, that is that control thing, going between needing to control everything and switching off and not giving a shit about anything, right? It's the two extremes. And it's telling you that you need to find harmony and balance between the two and not going from one extreme to the other. Going back and forward, back and forward. The focus will be to find equilibrium, inner peace, right? Letting the knowing to really come through and channel through you at this time, because you will be getting those downloads. You will be getting that support. You'll just be hit by it at times, right? You'll just feel it. And you'll know that that warmth that's coming in, that support, that love is real. And it's there to help you through this time. You're not doing it alone. So it's really important that you're aware of that. And that, that you allow that healing, nurturing energy to really help calm your mind. Okay, so it's really important that you do things that's going to help you find that equilibrium. So whether it's meditating, breathing exercises, yoga, fitness, being out in nature, right, learning to calm the mind, to switch off all these thoughts, that's really important at this time. So the guidance is the 10 of Wands in reverse. Okay, knowing which connections are actually bridging gateways to something new, and which ones are actually just leading you full circle back into situations that you're trying to leave behind. Okay, so not getting caught up in the same repetitive patterns. Knowing which ones are serving you in this journey and which ones aren't. Deciphering which connections have a place in your life still and those that don't. You know, not being afraid to mend bridges where needed. You know, when you're guided to do so as well. Not being afraid to trust in your own instincts and your sort of whatever it is that you desire to do moving forward. Have some faith in that. Don't overthink it too much. Go after what it is that you're passionate about, because you have a new beginning on the horizon. But it's going to take a little bit of time. You know, you have to decipher through all these things and work out what it is that you truly want, what matters most to you. As I said, what has a place in your life at this time and what no longer does. So you have to kind of weed through all of that. And then when it's clear, you can then move forward. And then finally, in regards to the outcome, you have the High Priestess. Okay, so why am I not surprised? This is the intuitive side of you coming in full effect, right? This is that inner knowing I was talking about, the higher wisdom that's coming through you at this time. That's going to be the outcome. Your intuition is going to be very high as a result. You're going to be tapped in. You're being initiated into the energy of the High Priestess, right? It's being a conduit for higher frequencies so that you can share messages that need to be said, so that you can interact with ways that's going to help promote more love and peace and understanding in the world, right? that's going to show others that there's a better way to do things. Rather than doing it from a place of control, you'll be doing it from a place of love. That's hugely transformative and powerful, right? So don't take that for granted at all. When that happens, when you start to see yourself operate in that space, show your gratitude. Do it in various ways. Even just have communication with the universe, you know, in your free time. Because honestly, you are being opened up for a reason. Okay, it serves a larger purpose beyond ourselves. So it's really important that, you know, when those energies come in, that you embrace them, because it's going to benefit you, it's going to benefit those you encounter, and it's going to help to raise the frequency of your reality as a whole, right? So that's really important. Okay, so last messages we've got for you. We have the Chariot in reverse, Cancer energy. You may have Cancer in your chart, or you may have, you know, been in connection with someone who is a Cancer, or you just have some prominent water energy somewhere there. Either way, Chariot in reverse. This is about not taking swift action. This is about not moving forward. You know, not, yeah, basically, you know, taking pause, not moving forward, not galloping towards battle, right? And that's the thing, you're being asked to find that serenity, that stillness, right? That calmness, that peace of mind, being in the moment, seeing things clearly, not going back and forth between two opposing energies, as I said, with the perchance to dream and the obsession card. Finding that equilibrium and knowing when to pause, when to stay still, and when to move forward. So it's finding that balance, because I feel like currently you're in go mode, right? But now you're learning how to be still. So stillness is very, very important to you. That should be a key word for you at this time. Stillness and inner peace, okay? And then next you have the Five of Swords, okay? So air energy. And with the Five of Swords, this is talking about disconnect. This is about conflict, arguments, disagreements, you know, unresolved issues, right? Things that were said out of turn that caused problems, things of that nature. And also cutting out things that no longer serve the purpose, right? So toxic relationships, toxic environments, toxic situations, toxic behaviors, thoughts, emotions, right? All of that stuff. And that's where your intuition, your inner knowing, and that healing energy that's coming through is going to really play a pivotal role in help resolving this, right? And help you to see clearly, so you know what needs to go and what needs to stay. And then crowning all of that, what did I tell you? Ace of Cups. This is the love card, okay? This is about new beginnings, you know, abundant, overflowing, unconditional love. And I'm not talking about like even in a romantic sense or a relationship. You may be in a relationship, you may move into one, and this comes very much at the forefront, which would be beautiful. And you know, I hope that's the case for you. But I feel like it's more than that. I feel like this is you, okay? This is your cup being overfilled by the universe, by all that you will learn and have learned, all of the emotional abundance that's coming in, the spiritual knowledge that's coming in to help fill your cup, to help you feel, you know, truly worthy of that knowledge as well, to show you then, you know, it's not by chance, so you're not just lucky, that you were specifically chosen because you're ready to receive it. You're ready to receive that love. You're ready to receive the knowledge, okay? The inner wisdom. So that's really, really beautiful energy, Virgo. As I said, nothing is, you know, none of this stuff happens for nothing, okay? You're not going through it just to be put through your paces, okay? It's being done so that all the things that no longer serve you, all the stuff that's holding you back, that's preventing you from stepping into this ascendant energy, is being blown out, okay? So that you can walk towards this, and this can start pouring into you, which is happening this year, okay? So as I said, that's the energy that's crowning you. Ace of Cups, water energy. Again, could be Cancer in your chart, could be Cancerians, that's gonna, or a Cancerian that's gonna help you in this process. You may meet someone that's gonna have a very prominent like their energy is going to be very prominent in this process, that there's going to be something that they'll offer and able to help you with, something to do with this. Or there will be some kind of, maybe someone spiritual in your circle, or someone that will come into your circle, or even someone you'll be connecting with on some level that will help you in this process, that understand the journey you're on and support you in that. Or it could be just another water sign like Pisces or Scorpio. Either way, that energy is coming through strongly. You're being supported, you're being divinely guided. There's so much love here. And as soon as you work on this stuff, the lower frequency stuff, that will start pouring in, and you will not even recognize yourself by the end of the year. You know, it's hugely transformative, and I love that this came up for you, Virgo, because I know that you guys needed this. And then that's the thing, the universe knows this, right? Everything's playing out as it's supposed to. So it's all being timed perfectly so that you are in the right place for this to start coming in. Okay, so I hope that brings comfort to some of you out there, particularly those who have been going through a really rough time, particularly last year. So yeah, do let me know your thoughts on this. If it resonated, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will be doing your January monthly reading probably in the next couple of days. So watch out for that and enjoy the start of 2020. Bye for now.